Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel. We had a little bit of a break because nothing major was happening, nothing ground shaking after the Russians tested a new Oresnik missile system and threatened to hit the countries that allowed Ukraine to hit Russia with their weapons. And I thought that would be a good warning for them to rethink their position. But here we are. If they were smart, we wouldn't be having this video right now. So let's look at some stupid decisions. NATO PA calls for medium-range missiles to aid Ukraine's defense and aggression deterrence. Why do you call it Ukraine's defense? It's not defense if you give them offensive weapons. You want defense? Well, why don't you give them something they can defend against the Oresnik, for example? Just give them one of your best anti-missile air system, anti-air system that you have. Oh, you already did? It's not working? Well, too bad. NATO Assembly adopted a resolution urging member states to provide Ukraine with medium-range missiles capable of targeting Russian strategic positions. We're gonna look at this. How is this gonna target strategic positions? Because if you say strategic positions, this means military. You don't need, like they say right here, that these missiles have a range of 1,000 to 5,500 kilometers. Now, to put that in perspective, I'm gonna show you how much that is. So, let's say that they put like the missile system where they could put it, like right here in Chernihiv. And from here to Moscow, there is where is Moscow? Wow, I can't find Moscow. Oh, it's right here. From here to Moscow, there is about 800, maybe 900 kilometers. You're giving them missiles that can go 1,000 to 5,000 kilometers, so they can hit, like, I don't know, way in Russia, like inside. How is that of any strategic value to hit their troops that are right here on your border? You need a rock, and just to throw it, you're gonna hit them. And they're about to give you a super long range missiles for no reason. Well, it's not for no reason. It's to provoke Russia even further, because they're really clinging onto US to defend them, but that's not gonna work. They cannot defend you. They couldn't down the Kinzhal missiles before, and I don't know how they're planning on downing, well, Oresnik, but this is the stupid decision. Like, why would you even think about this? Chernihiv cited the US-made Tomahawk missile as a potential example of the required weaponry. It's not required. It's not gonna do a goddamn thing to Russia. Russia is massive. You would need to send about, I don't know, 7,000 of those missiles, because at least 3,000 are gonna hit their target, if they hit their target. Don't forget, Russia is not in Stone Age, and don't think that Russia doesn't have defensive measures to deal with these missiles that the West is planning on delivering to Ukraine. So most of them won't even hit. But they're not gonna send 10,000 missiles. They're gonna send a few hundred, just so Ukraine can hit Moscow here and there and cause Russia to get pissed off and start blasting all over the Europe. It's not gonna be nuclear. Don't worry about that. This is not a nuclear war type of thing. Russia is not gonna use nuke unless nukes are used against it. Even though Russia changed their policy and they reserve their right to use it, they're not gonna use it because that doesn't benefit anyone. They have unstoppable missile system Oresnik, and they're gonna use that to blow up some factories in UK, France, US. They don't care. They'll do it. So I don't see a smart reason to do this unless you're trying to provoke war with Russia. That's gonna end up being a nuclear war. There is no way Russia's gonna deal with NATO on the battlefield. They simply don't have the manpower to do this. US on its own has like double, if not even more, the population of Russia, and including other NATO states. That's a lot of manpower. That's a lot of troops that could be fielded, and Russia doesn't have any interest in fighting them on the battlefield. But they do have nukes, and all that manpower can be evaporated in the matter of minutes. So, very stupid decision. They're claiming here that the resolution titled NATO after the Washington summit. Of course, NATO after Washington. Future-proofing the alliance and supporting Ukraine until victory. NATO after the Washington summit. Future-proofing the alliance and supporting Ukraine until victory. First of all, Ukraine is not in any alliances, military alliances, especially not with NATO. They have a wish to be, but they are not. It's one of the reasons why Russia is there. Secondly, supporting Ukraine until victory. What victory? Again, let's look at the map. This is the Ukraine map right here. So this is all the territory that Ukraine lost since the war began. And this is where they are starting to lose some territory as well. So let's look at this map strategically. Let's just not be morons for 2 seconds and actually think for ourselves. So we all know Russia has bigger military than Ukraine. We established that. We all know Russia has allies like Chechens, like North Koreans, that are all in a military alliance with Russia. So those troops of those two countries are all over Russia. Chechens are known to attack, but North Koreans are just defending, which means Russia can redistribute their troops offensively in the south. So let's look at this. How can Ukraine possibly do anything to Russia? I don't see how. This is all Russia pushing. And this is Russia encircling right here. Because they can encircle this, no problem, if there are any troops like around here. They already closed off like these two big infrastructure routes. So nothing can really get in. This is all gone. It's all gonna die. What can Ukraine do? Well, if Ukraine had all of the sudden about, let's say, 200,000 heavily trained men and a stable front line and maybe air supremacy, they could possibly push right here and push from this side right here and somehow get to Donetsk and encircle all of this here, and they would win this battle. But look at Russia. All of this is Russia. How do you think they can win? How many troops do you need? You need about 6 to 8 million men to beat Russia. And all of them in army, all of them armed, and to push for next 10 years or so. And that's including, let's say that Russia doesn't have nuclear weapons. In that case, in that insane case, you can win. Otherwise, what are you expecting to do? How do you expect Ukraine to win this war? Even with NATO forces there, because they do have forces there already, as engineers, volunteers, volunteers that are sent there. That's not a volunteer. You send them there. Volunteer is a guy who picks his stuff up and goes. Like we have also American soldiers on Russian side that are actual volunteers that were in the US Army, and they're like, wow, our country's going to shit right now. This doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna go help Russia. They pack up, go there. That's a volunteer. NATO volunteers that are sent in Ukraine, they are sent in Ukraine. So they didn't go there on their own terms, so they are not volunteers, but they call them as such so they wouldn't provoke Russia. You provoked already enough, so I don't see the point. But if we look on the other side, what is Russia going to do? Well, they're kind of telling us here. The first Shahed type drones have entered airspace over Ukraine, right here in Zaporozhye. Which means not yet. Like Russia is not rushing. But this is gonna be where Russians gonna be going. Right here. Because as you can see, from this city, I'm gonna call it Zaporozhye, maybe I'm wrong, there are roads that lead to the battlefield over here. And if you pay attention, there are not too many of these big roads that go from central Ukraine towards it. So the biggest one right now, where everything is coming in and everything is going out, would be Kharkiv. Or Kharkiv. And as we can see, Russians have already started the offensive towards it. Once Kharkiv falls, all of this, as you can see, these roads supplying these troops are gonna be cut off. So it's gonna be a problem. Once Kharkiv falls, if they wanna think big, they are going to push in Zaporozhye down here. And from Zaporozhye, they're going for Dnipro and just closing off from both sides this thing in the middle. Or they're gonna be smarter. I mean, I would go for this big encirclement. This would demolish Ukraine. But if they want to be more careful, more, tactical, they're gonna do something smaller. Like they're doing here. They're pushing from up there, they're pushing from down here, and they're gonna encircle this small pocket here or force Ukrainians to pull back out of there, and they keep going. Maybe they're gonna go for the smaller victories, like right here. As you can see, they're pushing up there, pushing up here, pushing down here. They're gonna encircle this in a matter of days, maybe a week. So Russia has every possible way to win this, and there is no way for Russia to lose this, and they're not gonna lose this, no matter what NATO does. So I don't see the point of you sending them missiles that can hit way over here. Like, how is that gonna help them? It's only going to provoke Russia, and you're gonna have a big problem. Like, this is not gonna happen. Give up. There is nothing here. You cannot win the war. But you know what can happen? Well, Russia can start hitting France. Probably somewhere near Paris, just to spook them a little bit. And maybe hit somewhere in UK. Maybe not near London, but maybe Birmingham right here. Probably just to hit in the middle of it. And the US thinks they are very safe, but they're forgetting that Russia has missiles in Cuba, which is right here. They can just throw it like this. They don't even have to launch it. So what are you trying to achieve? Russia has you surrounded right now. Not really surrounded, but they have missiles that are literally unstoppable, can get anywhere they want them to get, and they're gonna hit anything they want to hit. So what do you think is gonna happen? Who are these idiots making these decisions to send these missiles to Ukraine to let them use them against Russia? In his victory plan rejected by key Western stakeholders, Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky, with two Y's, okay, proposed deploying a comprehensive non-nuclear strategic deterrence package on Ukrainian territory to counter Russian threats. This is good to counter. So their missiles comes, you counter it. You know, you stop it. That's how you counter. But Western officials leaked to the media that Ukraine requested US Tomahawk missiles as part of this deterrence effort. You don't give them that. It's simple as that. You want a defense and deterrence, however you want to call it. You put a radar that can catch, see these incoming missiles, planes, whatever. And then you put a defensive anti-air system or anti-missile, whatever systems close by, so they can intercept whatever is coming your way. This is deterrence. This is defense. Not you giving me a rocket so I can hit him back. You're not gonna achieve anything because, once again, Russia is this big and Ukraine is this big. So, this is Ukraine and this is Russia. This is how big Ukraine is. This is it. See? It's nothing compared to Russia. So what on earth do you expect Ukraine to bomb so much in Russia that Russia is gonna surrender? I don't know. But what we expect Russia to bomb in Ukraine and Europe in order for them to surrender? Anything. And they have the means necessary for it. So let's see how big Russia is. Well, this pink thing is Russia. So when we put it over Europe, whoops. That's a problem now, isn't it? Let's put it over US. Isn't that a problem? Yeah. Very big problem. Massive problem. So you don't get any chance to defeat Russia. There is no way in hell. There is nothing you can do. So why are you provoking this? Why are you so stupid? They want to get hit. They're probably gonna go to war immediately or whatever. But that's not gonna achieve anything because it's gonna be a nuclear war. Who benefits from the nuclear war? Well, maybe somebody who has a bunch of nuclear bunkers over here somewhere in New Zealand. A bunch of billionaires building them. They don't care about the rest of the world blowing up, but maybe they're gonna benefit somehow. But the rest of us are not. We're all going to disappear. So that is what they're doing, and I don't like it. Hopefully this is just some last spasm. Maybe Putin is not that hot-headed, as he proved that he's not so far, that he's gonna try and wait for Trump to get in the office, because it seems like this is just the last spasms from Biden administration in the process of moving out, just doing whatever he can to provoke Russia further. But I don't know. Maybe Putin is gonna realize what's happening and wait for the new president to see what the US stance is gonna be then. You know, as we talked about before. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen. US is gonna pull out of this one way or another, but Europe, following current US administration, is gonna get stuck. Because they are not changing governments. And they cannot change stances all of a sudden, which is going to be a problem. US is going to have the excuse, like, oh, it was Biden and all this. Now it's Trump, so we are completely different. We don't want to have anything to do with this. But these countries already committed. So they're going to have a massive problem in the future. Because they're either going to have to kiss Russia's ass a little bit to apologize, or they'll have to continue doing what they're doing. And if they continue doing what they're doing, that's going to lead to a massive war that they cannot win. So yeah, make sure you let me know in the comments what you think about all of this. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll keep letting you know what they're cooking while you're not looking. And I'll see you on the next one.